Most leaders, and I've been there, we think that success comes when clicking or clocking more hours. It's not. It's growing your consciousness, elevating your beingness so that you become the light, so your pure consciousness.
Hello, my fellow humans, and welcome to the Multiverse Technology Podcast. Today's guest is Camilla Kalberg, an executive coach and leadership strategist who helps leaders reclaim time, dissolve stress, and elevate confidence through powerful mindset shifts. Welcome, Camilla, to our podcast today.
Thank you so much, Justin. I've been looking forward to our conversation.
Same here. And I've been following you on LinkedIn, seeing a lot of the great stories you're posting. They're very inspirational. If you could let our audience know a little bit about you and your journey that you've been on, and then up until now, how you're helping people.
I love it. So my journey up till now, let's make it short but very deep at the same time. So I've been 20 years in corporate. And before I started my personal development journey, that was about 7 years ago, I started to ask this very deep question. Is this all there is to life? And even now my body's responding. And I couldn't find the answer, but I was feeling unfulfilled. I checked all the boxes. I had all the masks, but I was deeply questioning life. I wanted to I went to brand as a consultant, advisor, wanted to elevate and grow and scale the company. And I said, well, from one of the mentors, I want to help you, but only if you want to work on yourself. And that kickstarted the journey. And I go deeper and deeper every day. And now I'm into emotional intelligence, transurfing, as you beautifully framed it in the intro, really help leaders build a deeper relationship with themselves, because as preparation for our conversation today, really dawned on me that we talk about leadership as a definition, but it's really the opposite. It's not about the definition. It's about who we are as being in the workplace and our relationship with ourselves, or lack of understanding about consciousness and brain. And that's my mission, to help leaders understand that so they can create greater impact, enjoy more of life at the same time.
Ooh, I love that. That is a powerful mission there. Especially I want to dive into building deeper relationships as a leader. Because so many leaders nowadays, they kind of operate on this logical mind and only what they see, but not what they feel and know and understand from other people. So I'd like to kind of build on that about how do leaders build deeper relationships with themselves and the people around them? Is it possible for all of us to do it?
Oh, I love that. Let's start with the latter question. Yes, it's possible for all of us. That's a good news, right? It is. The thing is that it requires us to commitment to really see ourselves as who we really are. It's scary, and Brené Brown says it requires vulnerability and bravery, but that's really it. And what's the best word? But my uppermost work, or uppermost assignment as a coach and a mentor, is we love to hold up the mirror and reflect back the frequency I pick up people are vibrating on, and that the coherence between brain and heart, what they want and how they show up. And those who make the biggest strides are those who are considered as emotional intelligent leaders, who are promoted within 3 months into the new role and really dare to show up as a trusted advisor, because they know themselves and they can read the soul. I think we talked about it before when we first connected, the soul behind the title. See the soul behind the title and not just the name. And when people learn that, then they see that it's just really a soul who struggles. Or let's ask a better question, a higher question.
I love that, the soul behind the title, because I've always felt there's a duality to life that a lot of us aren't seeing anymore. We've separated ourselves as humans and separate ourselves as our faith and higher power. So that we need to understand to bring back the soul bring us those two parts together. So we're like that one soulful human being showing up. I love that. Soul behind the title. Damn, that's powerful. What has been your experience with like doing this work with people? So I can't imagine when people are like, yeah, I want to become a better leader. What work do I have to do? I'm sure they're not realizing how deep this work really has to go and how scary and dirty and messy it really is, bringing all those things to the surface that they've been ignoring and neglecting.
So and I'll say this with love, but no, I just want to pause it. Because what it looks like for people who are ready for this work, who knows that they are meant for more, they go deep and they call it therapy. I don't know if it's therapy, but it's really about really understanding who you are. And they get insights and they go out and practice, because it's only by practice. If anyone, and I hope that so many of you are listeners, right? Just listen, but don't apply. It just stays information. And that's the two camps, those who are ready and those who are not ready. But those who are not ready, they are more skeptical, right? Because can I really change my brain? Can I really change my frequency? Yes, you can. You get to really play with that. But those who really dive deep and want to be called out with love, why are you saying that? And they just go back and say, what frequency are you vibrating on right now? When they really want to learn and become a better version of themselves, then they go out and ask bolder questions, holding the room, calling the CEO out. Hey, right now you are aggressive. What is going on? Is these questions that a way of showing up? That's how I help leaders take their career and their life to the next level.
Do I love that? That's powerful. They're pretty much holding themselves and then their CEOs responsible. You know, that accountability is hard, especially when you're starting to grow and trying to become that better version of yourself. Some people I feel to understand that for so long, others have held us accountable, but it's time to hold yourself accountable. You know, that's a very hard duality to kind of grasp sometimes. Like, what do you mean?
And I think for me, so I've been on this for years, right? And what you mentioned just a few minutes ago is so vulnerable to look at yourself in the mirror. Is that really how I show up? And then when you really take the time to say, yes, I am aggressive, and connect with that fear and the reason why I show up that way, the breakthrough question is this really how I want to show up? Most likely, my body's responding, it's not. What do I need to shift in order to show up as that unconditional loving person where I'm the light every single minute of the day? That is the work.
So powerful. You know, I think back sometimes when I started doing this work, it was like, okay, I want to be a better version of myself, but what do I need to do that? What is that going to look like? You know, and I didn't understand that I had to kind of envision myself as that person that wants to be curious, wants to ask questions, wants to be a better leader for myself, my family, and my business. And a lot of people don't understand that duality, that you show up better, not just for your business, but for your family and your friends. You become such a true leader and a true light to guide people in the right direction. And for so long, you're guiding them with a dim light. You know, for that light to fully come on, you really realize that being present in your leadership and as a human being, that's just powerful within itself.
It is. And when we talk about leadership, which I really like, that was a post on LinkedIn and I commented on it. And it really clicked that majority of leaders talk about leadership as a definition, but we forget about the soul. We cannot just change. I'm not going off on a different tangent, but we get to
Thought
understand.
leadership. They think too much.
We get to understand who we are when we at work. Why do we want to control something or be in control? But really, and here's, I don't know, just correct, take me off track if take me back. But this is what really I want to share. Why is it that we box ourselves in when really we can enjoy so much more of life? That's what dawned on me today, Justin.
Those boxes are safe. They're there. We can see them. They're tangible. It's like something that we've been used to our whole lives for most of us.
And we are not aware that we box ourselves in. But
I know.
what if we on this planet to enjoy the most of what life is? What if what needs to shift in us?
So much needs a shift. I always tell people that the people that think inside the box, outside the box, and then those of us who realize the box is a social construct that doesn't actually exist. But in our minds, so much we think exists isn't really true. It's we're living delusionally with our illusion that we've created of our own reality.
Boom. And I mean, that was why I was so excited to be on your podcast because we sing the same song. And what's really interesting is I'm listening to this book called Transurfing. It's 24 hours audible. And it says the only true free will we have is our choice.
So true.
And so transformation can happen in the instant moment when we choose a different lifeline, when we choose a different reality. So actually, we can shift very quickly when we choose a different thoughts of our liking.
Love that. It took so long to realize that free will is a choice. I didn't understand that I had a choice or what choice meant. I didn't understand that choice gave me true freedom, but I also didn't understand that could be changed. That I grew up thinking, learning, understanding things one way, living in the matrix. This is how it always is. This is how it's always going to be. You're given this life and that's it. But it took so long to realize that when I could have free will as a choice, that I could shift anything in my life. Anything can move. I could move mountains, inside my mind and just really become the change I truly wanted to see. And a lot of people think that it's like, oh, this is woo-woo. But the mind is so powerful and complex. We live in a quantum reality. And I feel that quantum mechanics is a way of explaining how the universe and our minds work together. And a lot of people are like, what are you talking about? It's one of those journeys that I've been going on myself. But these things are so connected, though. Neuroscience is a very powerful thing. To understand how these things work in our minds helps us show up and have these conversations, become the people we need to be.
Or we were meant to be by the Creator.
And let me rephrase that, not become, but remember who we are. I forgot that person. Hey, my fellow humans, sorry to interrupt your video, but if you're looking for more ways to protect and empower your healthcare practice, we would love to help. At ITCMD, our mission is to simplify IT, boost security, and support your compliance journey with a human touch, so you can focus on caring for your patients. Want to see how easy IT and cybersecurity can be? Schedule a free consult or check out our resources at iteecmd.net. Let's build a safer, stronger future together. Okay, bye. Second.
Hold a second. It's good, right? In this conversation.
Yeah.
That's why when I take people, those who are ready for this, right? Many of my clients are in pharma. And then that's a challenge for them, right? Because you can't shift your mind, but actually you can. It's just a pill and it's not. But those who, whatever, my world, you world, whoever is on this amazing journey of neuroscience and transurfing and being the light and tapping into our calling when it comes to being a leader and understand about the neuroscience energy, those people have an unfair advantage because they're going back to the soul. I say there's only 1% of leaders or 0.1% who actually understand the concepts that we love share today and unfold more of this, right? Doubling down on. But most leaders do not have yet invested their time and money in this field. So those who are on this journey, personal development journey, they have an unfair advantage, which means that they can actually see the soul behind the name and the title, pick up on the energy and call them out.
Yeah.
That gives you so much authentic and effortless power that will give you both in your career and in your personal life.
It is a very powerful concept. I was just talking to a woman on another podcast today about this, about how we, as human beings, not just as leaders, but as humans, that we've forgotten there's a duality and there's multiple parts of our lives and aspects that we have to work on. The spiritual, the personal, the healing, the making money. There's all these little things that kind of have to come together, not just have one or the other. Like you said, it goes back to the soul behind the title. Kind of creates soul, creates that awakening. We us kind of comprehend, understand the existential crisis that we are currently having or that we're going to have at some point in our lives. Powerful stuff. I didn't know this was going to go this way today.
And it's actually good with this pause because it's so deep. It is so deep, but it's so important because most leaders, and I've been there, we think that success comes from clicking or clocking more hours. It's not. It's growing your consciousness, elevating your beingness so that you become the light. So your pure consciousness, so that you're not your thoughts, but you're greater than your thoughts.
Those thoughts can be very dangerous and viable to our lives and existence. The way we talk to ourselves, the thing that we think about, I still go through that stuff every day. There's all these wild thoughts of just angry aggression, just negative. And I have to remember that there's this thing. Let's see, what does it say? There's this picture. Actually, I just posted all around my house right now. And it has a guy with his head like this on his head. And it says, neuroscience reveals that fearing something makes it more likely to occur. Predictive coding ensures that the outcome your mind concentrates on often unfolds. And I feel that when you concentrate on something so much, you can make it happen, you know? So if you're more negative, you're going to see negative and be negative. But if you're more positive and just trying to think in a better headspace, you're going to help manifest things into your life by just being more positive with it. And it's kind of like a little weirdness sometimes. I'm like, is this weird science? I don't, that you start connecting the dots around this journey, you start to kind of see things go into place. It starts to make more sense. It's like you said, you're in on the journey, you know?
And you dropped one word on the manifestation. And I'm on my own, like really deep personal development right now.
Yeah.
Why being on this quest is that manifestation is actually becoming masterful at who you are meant to be. So your thoughts, whether you believe what you believe to be true, the thing I could coach you or guide you or give you an advice, but you believe more in your own self-talk than in what I said. And that goes for all of us until we surrender, right? But if we don't surrender, you're going to manifest what you think. And that's why it takes more time, because we think negative thoughts, and those negative thoughts sends out a frequency that's neuroscience, right? That with that energy. And that's also when we go into leadership or leadership meetings or reporting to someone who is a big ego, and we pick up at that energy and we consume that energy rather than holding space for that energy, then it takes longer time to find a new job, pitch ourselves, or be seen as a trusted advisor. So that manifestation or manifesting is actually knowing yourself so much and controlling your thoughts, and choose thoughts to your liking and drop thoughts that don't sit.
Love that. Just being able to go on that journey and realize that there's more to life, there's more to what you're trying to do and accomplish, but realizing that it all starts with you and what work you do on yourself and how you show up and how you become and how you remember is so important. I try and drive that fact home to people. Just doing that healing and deep work on yourself so you can become and awaken to who you're truly supposed to be doing. It's so
And
powerful.
you've been on that journey. You are on that journey too.
It's ugly sometimes. Let me tell you, it's not easy.
No, it is not.
Like, I get frustrated. Sometimes I'll lay on the couch and remember, let me take a break and take a step back and sit here for about 5 or 10 minutes and then get back up and start going again. Before I used to hate myself for doing that. Like, you're wasting time. What are you doing? By realizing having that peaceful moment for myself helped me kind of take a break from my reality to get back into my reality of doing what I needed to be doing, what I want to do. Because having that grace in that moment has been helping me not get so overwhelmed, so stressful. Now, when you get to that point, you can't get anything done. There's a brain fog where you start saying and doing things you're going to regret or something, you know? It's like that hangry feeling.
And that's where until we grow our consciousness, we end up in that brain fog without knowing, because as I mentioned in the beginning, it's like, is this all there is to life? And we start to study, then actually it's our free choice, a free will to choose how we want to show up. But we don't learn that in school. That's why when both of us are no longer 10 or 11, right? So we have more years to rewire. That's why it takes longer.
Yes. I love how you said that, rewire. So I talk about that a lot with people because so many times when we were children, we're brought up to do and say and be certain things that go against us as children. That's why I would say children are the most precious, profound human beings. They're trying to teach us as adults how to be joyful and peaceful and be human again. But we ignore that because of all of our wiring of telling us, being told what to do, how to act, what job to get, how much money we need to make, all this stuff. But there's such beautiful, powerful creatures trying to help remind us of our joy and peace in life, I feel.
That one, I love this so different, right? Because that is what if life is like. Why not choose that lifeline where we can have more fun, more joy? It just gets to go up and do 9 hours at work.
I'm an adult now.
Yeah, successful, working on someone else's goals, but it's not really my life calling.
Yes.
That is the work that as I am elevating, I am taking those who are in my circles on that journey as well, to have more meaning in life, find that life purpose, whatever that is for them.
Love that. Are you able to share any kind of story with us, maybe regarding one of your clients or something that's happened has been so transformational that can kind of be valuable to the audience?
I would love to. So a client joined my world. And at first I didn't know that she was looking for a new job, but we were working on healing her broken marriage. Got then into a divorce before I got to know her. And then at one point I asked her, how is it going with your job search? Because I care so much about my client. And I invited her in for a conversation. And she was pretty sure that she wanted to go one way. And I asked her one question, and it completely shifted her strategy. She ended up doing something differently. She really went out of her comfort zone, practiced asking bold questions, holding the space. And in 6 weeks, she signed the contract for her dream job. She got up to SVP in that interview process. She's still there. She's been promoted a couple of times, and she leans in and asks bold questions. But the ways that she does it is to connect with her limiting thinking. For me to call out. You say you want to show up with integrity, but right now, how true is that? And she's open because she's willing to become a better version. So that's how deep we can go when we are willing to know more about ourselves and say, and that's why I talk so much about, in my circles, a lot of HR people talk about psychological safety. But really, when those leaders are not safe at all, how can we ever create psychological safety?
No one's.
Not even the.
That was powerful. I feel that because like her doing that and then showing up for interviews, people see that They get a better sense of you. You're coming from a different place. And they're like, wow, we need to hire this person. Look how powerful they are, how comfortable they are, what they could teach us, how they could help us grow our community, our business, you know? That's so powerful. I'm on that journey too. I feel that so hard right now. Woo! It's like fire under my feet.
And I
Woo!
want to give you and
Yes.
your amazing audience a tool and a tip. When I started my journey, I had 6 tools on my mobile phone to remember to be bold, to remember to listen, to remember to call out a fixed-minded person. And I had this on the backside of my mobile. And it's so scary. You get to really be pushed with love. Go practice. And the first time I practiced this question was when in room with a person who was bigger ego, and I felt less than. And I had to ask him this one question. I can't remember exactly what it was right now. Maybe it was like, why are you aggressive or something like that. But what he said was, no one has never asked me such a question before. And I said, Justin, with pride, but I'm happy I'm the first one.
You just set the standard, the bar way up here now.
But it took me, I needed to understand why I always gave power away to him. And I complained that I allowed him to have control over me. I didn't feel as we were peer because he was controlling. But when I saw the soul behind his fear, I started to take the room as a trusted advisor.
It's so powerful. I've been on that same journey myself. So I feel that. I used to do that same thing. I'd put them up here and me down here, not realizing that we're human beings. We're here. I started doing that and showing up for myself. People started noticing. They got a little scared too. They're like, why don't you respect me? I'm like, it's not about me respecting you. It's about me respecting myself, but showing up for you also.
That's it. And then remember that I'm here. I'm not here to be your friend. I'm here to help you succeed. So let me ask the question. And sometimes I even train my clients. I say, this is a bit, I feel uncomfortable right now. And I
Good.
get to ask this question, right? But I get to ask this question. We get to move our own comfort zone every single day.
That's a powerful shift. And I can definitely say that is always going to be a work in progress. That comfort zone is always going to be shifting and moving. You just got to keep trying to get uncomfortable. And it's a cat and mouse game. It's so tough. I'm going through that right now. It's tough. I'm comfortable because human beings, we want to be comfort. We want to be protected. We want to make sure we're safe. But I'm trying to retrain myself to be uncomfortable, to be comfortable with not being comfortable and be more uncomfortable as I go on with things. To me, that's the safety. That's the power. That's the risk that allows for the growth. So, yeah.
Go through it every single day as well. Otherwise, I mean, why am I here? Why am not moving forward? Why don't I get the results that I want? What is that fear, a block that I created in my own mind that what if I dissolve it? It just is. It just is.
Makes me feel maybe.
That's crazy, right? I created
Yeah.
something in my mind that I believed in. Remove that and just do it, show up. It comes by practice. But the more we connect with our thoughts, say, why do I believe that to be so a concrete block? It starts to dissolve. And that's fear at every level. Right? We get to work at. But it's very, very powerful.
It is. That's why I always say that the mind is a terrible thing to taste.
I
I
love
didn't
that.
say that myself. It actually came from an old industrial band, but I forget what I think it's a ministry. The mind is a terrible thing to taste. But it's so true because like when you taste that, it just creates such a space inside. If it's negative or if it's positive, depending on what line you're on at that. For
And
sure.
reminds me of another client
Yeah.
story where I train my clients, where they come to me and say, Camilla, they're holding back. Why don't they address this with upper management? Train them to say, let's say you're Justin. Hey, Justin, I just wonder, what is that relationship with X since you say we shouldn't address it? What is going on? What is that fear about? So as you get trained to ask those questions with love, what happens is that actually that manager, that card holder, so actually you see me and I feel seen. Maybe that's an interesting question, but thank you. I'm actually a bit scared. And so they build stronger relationship with the boss.
Yeah.
And sometimes they get promoted, right? Because they up level their consciousness and emotional intelligence. But that is the game I'm in and those who are in myself. Then we get more life and create better results. We're not working harder.
That is so true. I feel that because I've noticed a little shift. I started changing stuff in my life. I started telling people how I appreciate you. Thank you. Or I appreciate you as a human being. And they're like, what? And you see, they're like, thank you. Like they've never been told that before, you know? And I see the shift in people. They're like, whoa. And the way it makes them feel, I'm like, that's how it's supposed to feel as we connect, as we talk, we have any kind of conversations, you know?
Appreciate people.
Powerful. Yeah, just telling them I appreciate you. But it's meaning it sincerely from the heart with the fullest authenticity as possible. They can feel that energy. They can feel that you're coming from a place of love and understanding as a person, as a human, as a leader. And we definitely need more of that. We're in the world right now, we're so far from ourselves.
And the way to do it is really to understand what level are we playing at right now? Who am I when I'm showing up? Why do I react? Why do I want to micromanage? Why do I want to be transactional? And who do I really want to become? That is the journey rather than the goals that we tick the boxes. That's not the real wealth and success. It's the becomingness.
I love that. That is very profound. That's one of those things where you start asking questions, start being curious. And that's kind of the path you go down. Yeah. It's been a powerful conversation, Camilla. I want to thank you so much for having this with me. It's been just a pleasure having you on here today.
I really look forward to this, and thank you for inviting me and for having this very important conversation. It's so deep, and
Yes.
to me, it's important because the world is dynamic, but the more we can control ourselves, the more we stay, let's use this word, sane, inner peace. The world can be chaotic, but we are the anchor.
I keep hearing that word, becoming your anchor, anchoring yourself.
And then you anchor others as well.
So powerful. I love that. Thank you so much. I'm going to ask you one last question before we go. Okay, really ties into what we've been talking about today very well. And that is, what does it mean to you to be a human being?
That's good. What does it mean for me to be a human being? Oh, my body's responding to, I think, a few pathways. One is really now to understand that I am the light of the Creator. Create comes from Kabbalah, of the soul aligned way of leading myself. That is part of life. What it means to me, for me to be a human being, to be the light that you're meant to be and help other people with your gifts. Human being is also to do it so easy, to enjoy life rather than actually being stuck in that box where I have a job and then go on pension. That was one way of doing it. Being a human being has a different level of beauty to it now.
I love that. I love that because it kind of goes with the multiverse because we're multi-dimensional human beings. And that's why I have that name. Yeah, it's so powerful.
Very well into your channel's name, Multiverse.
People would like to work with you or reach out to you. Where can they reach you?
Thanks for asking. So I'm very present on LinkedIn. My name, Camilla Kalberg. And also we upgrade the website. So it's my name, camillakalberg.com. For anyone who is looking for the next dream job, we're actually launching our last cohort this year. It's a cohort that has been of high demand. I think it's a 5-week course. We really go into how to find your life calling, how to find your next dream job, how to ask for questions and dissolve any fears. And we're also opening a study group I call the Ball. Those who are ready to really learn connect with themselves at a deeper level.
I love that. I'm gonna put those down in the show notes so that they can find them a lot easier. And thank you so much for gracing us on this show today. It's been such a pleasure. And I'd love to have you back on here. Yes.
Yeah. Thank you, Justin. I love to be here. I loved our conversation. Thank you for holding a space for me to, with
Yeah.
your engagement, have
Yes.
such a, for me, profound and epic conversation.
Yes. That is the goal. That is definitely
That
the goal.
is, so I love to be back when the time allows.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you.
Thank you, Justin.
Bye.
Bye.